Hello. Hola, hola, hola. Welcome to a new episode of the Yoga for All Bodies video podcast. As you can see on your screen, today I have an incredible guest for you. Andrea DiMaio is the founder of Ample Movement, a community and business that wants to change the narrative around bodies, movement, exercise, and outdoor representation. This community is focused on joyful movement for people in larger bodies like herself, as well as other marginalized groups. Hello, Andrea. Welcome.
Hello, Natalia. Hello, thank you for having me today.
Thank you for being here. I love your work. I love your message. So I'm so happy you are able to join us in this video podcast.
Thank you so much for asking. I love what you do, so I'm happy to have a chat with you.
Yay! So I would like to start asking you, how did Ample Movement was born? How did you came with this idea? What can you share with us?
There's so much. Where to start? As usual. So Ample Movement started, I'm kind of in my second career, so to speak. So I'm 45 and I was a dog trainer for 20 years. And I've always loved movement and exercise, but it was always, and being outdoors, hiking and adventure, but it was always tainted. Looking back, of course, I didn't know at the time, with diet culture and trying to do the movement for reasons of either getting into a different size body or in terms of being outdoors and hiking and things like that. I always felt like I wasn't the typical hiker. I wasn't a real hiker because I didn't look the type, so to speak. So I've always been an outdoors person, and that was where it started. Is I wanted to have a hiking group that anyone could join, but especially people who didn't see themselves represented in outdoor media or culture or that sort of thing. And then kind of simultaneously with that was I've been doing yoga since 2007 for myself, and my journey kind of came where I finally said, enough with diet culture, enough with trying to change my body, and I'm just perfect the way I am. There's no need to change it. It was very liberating, of course, and yoga played a big role in that, in me trying to change my narrative around my own body and to make friends with my own body. So I just have all of these kind of loves. So it's outdoors, it's yoga. I also love cycling and running and things like that. So I thought, let's all do it all together. Ample, which has a lot of meaning. Ample means enough. Ample means larger. Ample means plenty. So I really like that word. And then movement, of course, because all of them have something to do with movement. So there's the quick answer, I think.
Love it. And you decided to create first this trekking group?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And how was that experience? Did you start a Facebook group? How did you do it?
Yeah, so basically it was a Facebook group in my local community. I live in a small town in Western New York, and so I kind of put the feelers out with friends and things like that. And the very first hike, I think it was in 2017, I believe, was our first hike. And it was a short one. And I was so emotional driving to the trailhead that day. I was so excited to be there. And as I drove up and I saw people of different sized bodies and more larger bodies than I would see at a typical hiking group, I just got so emotional and was like, these are my people. I'm so happy they're here. And so, yeah, it started with a Facebook group. And of course, we haven't had any hikes this year. But we have, we do snowshoeing. So, we get a lot of snow. So we do it all year. We're out all year.
Amazing. Yes, when I first found you on Instagram, I was like, this message is so needed, because every time if you live in a more large body than the traditional standard, and you decide, okay, I'm going to go for a trekking, or I'm going to try, let's say, surfing or any other activity, people, at least my experience, they tell you, good for you, you're going to get there, you're going to lose the weight, you're going to be able to do it all. And that's it.
Yes.
Let me stop you right there.
Yes. You are so right.
Yes. So I personally, I'm not an extreme fan of trekking. My husband loves trekking, so for me, I have to prepare mentally. But at the end of the day, walking, moving, it's because it feels good in your body. It's not because you want to lose the weight, because no. So
yeah,
if I'm being honest, when I was growing up, I was the kid that hid during physical education. We were doing the laps, and I would be hiding, and I would appear in the last two.
Sure.
But when I found yoga, that changed. That changed. For the first time, I was enjoying movement. I was enjoying sweating, even being in stillness. So you mentioned that yoga also changed the way you embrace your body. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So over the last few years, I've gotten a little bit larger, which is fine. I have, that's completely fine. But I guess maybe let me step back a moment. In 2015, I was in a pretty bad accident. I was hit by a car while riding my bike, and I was still kind of steeped in diet culture then. So that's a whole nother story for a different day. But fast forward to the recovery, and I mean, the recovery was pretty good, and yoga made it, was a big part of that recovery. So I remember going into my first yoga class after the accident, and because I had been, for whatever reason, I was in a little bit larger body, so things felt different. But when I was able to, sorry about that, I bumped the button.
No, this is life. Things happen.
Yes. So when I noticed that the more I did yoga, the more I could do again. So I was getting my range of movement back and things like that. But the stillness part of yoga, the quiet, the coming into, my internal track, my, trying to come back to in touch with who I really was outside of this, who I was always striving to be, physically or whatever it was, coming inwards and being slower at yoga than I ever had been before, but learning to embrace that slowness and that stillness, really helped me recover mentally and physically. So that played a huge part. And then as I continued along, being more and more comfortable with my body and how it is and how it's become, I noticed that, I was generally the largest person in the yoga room, right, in the studio. And I found where the teachers were sometimes looking to me for how I did certain things, using props and that sort of thing. And I remember showing some of my teachers, and that's when the idea of maybe I should go and get my teacher training, that's where that kind of started. So that's the road it led me down, and I finally did get my teaching, 200 hour, and that's what happened.
Beautiful journey. Yes.
Yeah.
During this podcast series, I spoke with a lot of people, and a lot of the teachers in larger bodies, and I'm happy to know their stories, because they all started like that. And in a way it makes me happy. In another way it doesn't make me so happy, because the yoga teachers should be prepared to welcome all the bodies, everything.
Yes.
Back in real life, when we were able to practice in the studios,
Right.
A lot of teachers also would approach me after class and tell me one thing that I hate. You're super brave. Why am I brave for being here practicing yoga? So I had to put my best smile. Thank you. But really no. And also asking me for tips on how to share that.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that now more than ever, we have a lot of trainings, a lot of people that are sharing the message. So more people don't have to face the same thing that we face.
Yes, yes.
And have you experienced any kind of these comments?
I have not had too many of those in my yoga studios. I think it's more because I do live in a small town, and I have gotten the "You're brave," or not the "You're brave." I'm sorry, "You're inspirational." That one's similar, right? It's a similar kind of thing, and I mean, I understand. I do want to inspire, I suppose, people to live their lives in the body that they have now, but it just feels kind of yucky, saying inspirational. I know it's meant well, of course, but I'm just doing my life right now, and I don't know. I understand what people are saying, and it's not quite the same as saying you're brave, but it can feel a similar, I suppose, depending on who says it and that sort of thing. So yes. I've gotten that more, I think.
Yes. And I think we need to accept those comments, because at the end of the day, you are changing lives. You are creating. I always say that, and even with what I do, I think we are swimming against the river.
You're right.
Yes. So
yeah,
that is important. That is huge. Yes.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, is like you are doing with Ample Movement, is changing. So new generations don't think that going trekking, practicing yoga is for only a certain type of body, a certain type of people.
Yes, you are so right.
So thank you for the work you're doing. And what more can you share about Ample Movement? Because I know it's not only yoga and trekking. What more?
So we, given different times, we have done snowshoeing, like I mentioned, any kind of outdoor adventure. So kayaking, biking, cycling, anything that anyone kind of wants to try. That's, any kind of outdoor adventures. And I have this feeling that I just want to do it all, and I have to kind of slow down and, know that I can't do it all. I have all these things like, who wants to go kayaking? Who wants to do this? And it's a little much, but the idea is I've also had some groups discussing things like intuitive eating. So, I'm no expert on that, but I have done my own journey. So just to introduce people to the idea of intuitive eating, of health at every size. We have a lot of discussions, and we've had a couple of those very informal kind of conversational groups as well. So those are a few other things that we have done, and who knows what else we'll do in the future.
Yes. Endless possibilities.
Yes.
And what would you say to someone that is self-conscious, or maybe even scared of putting themselves out there? They have always dreamed of going into a trekking in a national forest, but they...
Well, what I would say is, I understand. That's completely normal. The second thing I would say, if they were wanting to come like with our group, is that we leave no hiker behind. That is the rule. The rule is we all go together, we all come back together, we go at the pace of the slowest hiker, and we do it in a way that's never shamey or to make anyone feel bad about being slow, because we're all going to be slow on different days. You know, we have different things that happen to us, and stories and injuries, and one day you can feel very strong and be at the front, and another day you're not feeling it and you can be behind. So if someone's not in my area, and like I said, and it's COVID, just finding a group of people or going to a place with someone and saying, look, I need to go this pace, and please respect that and stop when you need to. Breathe heavy. That is absolutely okay to breathe heavy. That's a hard one for me, that I'm still working on. We're all still working on something. So if you really have always wanted to do it, see if you can find a friend that will go with you. Or if not, just make sure you tell someone where you went. Go slow. There are other great hiking groups in the country that do similar types of hikes as well. So maybe there's somebody like that around that might be a good place to try. So
love it. Yes. Because at the end of the day, we have only this life. So if we are, for example, I feel that myself have been waiting. When I was younger, I was saying, I'm going to be thinner to start practicing yoga. I'm going to be thinner and I'm going to start my Instagram account. And why?
Yes, do it now. And I completely agree with you. That I know it's easier said than done, but when you start doing it and you realize how much joy it brings you, then it just kind of perpetuates and you keep going, and it's everything. It brings joy. And another note on the trekking and hiking, if you can find a group of people that are in larger bodies, it is a game changer. I went on a couple of very big trips last year with a company that I work for, that we went with a group of plus size. I went on two big trips, one to Tanzania, to Mount Kilimanjaro, and the other to Peru. But both of those treks were with plus size people. And if you can find a group of plus size people, it makes a huge difference, because you all can really relate to each other. And as far as gear goes, you can talk about gear and what has worked for you and what hasn't, and all that sort of thing. So that is one other thing that I have found that I didn't have before, is if you can find or at least just like make your own group of people that it makes a huge difference in either practicing yoga with people in larger bodies, or doing any activity. That maybe is a nice first step for people, because you feel like you're part of a community and you all have experienced similar life, similar experiences, very, very simple things. Like I remember being at a place with one of my friends in one of these trekking groups, and I couldn't fit behind the chair that we were sitting in, right? I was moving to go somewhere else and I couldn't fit behind the chair. And I said, I'm not going to fit behind the chair. And she said, okay, and got up and moved. And there was no feeling of shame or guilt or anything like that when you're with those groups of people. I just can't emphasize enough, if you can find even one or two people in larger bodies to do these things, it does make a difference, because you've experienced this thing very similarly. I hope that makes sense. Not Absolutely. To like dismiss people in straight sizes or anything, like you're great friends, but when you've lived this life and you have had similar experiences, it makes the community a little more special. And it's almost like you know things without having to say things to each other. It's like this little secret group or club or something.
Yes. and now that you mention it, the times that I've been on a trekking, I'm always the larger person, and I get chafing in between my legs.
Yeah.
And it's super painful. And you see that the others keep going. And it's not like I can go and say, I'm in pain.
Right. Yeah. You're stuff like that. And you can, when you're in a group with people that are having similar things, you go, oh, how are you doing? I'm having chafing here and it feels horrible. How are you Oh yeah, me too. That's, and it's no big thing. Right. And you can just kind of take care of each other that way. I suppose.
I love that. Yes. That feeling of community. Oh,
yeah.
I want to find my group. Yes. And go explore.
Yeah. Even short little walks and things like that. It doesn't have to be anything epic. just little walk.
For example, my husband is super thin and super athletic. And it's not because he works out a lot. No, he was born like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So for example, sometimes we are going up the stairs and I'm always behind and I'm always sweating. And people that don't live in larger bodies don't relate to that you can be sitting and you're sweating.
Yes, you're right. So those little things, it's so nice to find that community, even online. I mean, right now we have to be, right? But yeah, so that's a good place to start.
Yes, I love it. Yes. I'm going to put it in my list. Find a group, find your peers.
and when we're allowed to travel again, maybe we can make some things happen and we can go on a hike together.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, I love it. Yes. Maybe that's, yes. This is like therapy. Maybe my unwillingness to go outdoors is because I haven't found the right people.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, maybe you don't like it. I mean, because that's a fair thing too. But it does make a big difference. It's so nice when you have people that you can relate to.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. and during these trekkings or activities, how many people get together?
With ample movement where I'm at, it really depends. We've had some big groups, maybe 10 or 15, and then we've had some, I would say average tends to be more like 5. Sometimes there's only one other person that comes, and I'll still go. It doesn't matter how many people are around. I'll still go. It's really nice. Yeah.
Awesome. And how do you mix? Let's say you go for a trekking and then you mix yoga, or is it yoga?
I have only done yoga on one of my hikes one time. I had a lot more plans to do more this year, but we have done a couple where we've gone for a short hike and then everyone goes and gets their mats out of their car, and we found a place outside on the grass and done a short yoga session. I've also done one where we stop and do maybe a pose or something on the trail, but we haven't done a lot of those yet. I got my 200-hour, I finished last year. I can't think of all the days, and time is all, it's all messed up right now.
Yes, I still feel that we are in March 2020.
I agree with you. Yes, yeah, I agree with you. So I think I finished my teacher training last year in May, in 2019. So we had done a few throughout the summer of 2019, and then I had big plans this year. Oh well.
But more to come.
That's right.
Oh, love it. Yes. I love your message. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Natalia.
And this is a question that I ask all the guests. For All Bodies is all about variations and using props. So I would like to know, what is your favorite prop and why? Only one.
It's only, I was going to say it's a toss-up, but okay, if I can only pick one,
Then toss up, yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay, toss up between the wall and a chair, but I'm going to pick a chair because it's a little more, if you don't have a wall, you usually have a chair. I like the chair. And so why do I like the chair? I think because you can use it to bring the floor up to you. You can use it to increase a feeling, a sensation. You can do it, you can kind of bring it down and do a slower flow where you don't want to stand up and your feet get tired, but you can also use it. There's so many ways to use the chair. I love the chair. And I think the more, I've just noticed this. I teach a chair class every week, and I'm finding that is one of my favorite classes.
Oh,
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I think that's mine.
Awesome. And finally, how can people find you? Promote yourself.
Okay. So on Instagram, Ample Movement. I also have my personal Instagram, which is Adventuring Andrea. So that's a little more of like my personal hikes, and you see my dog there. He's my hiking buddy, and some other things. Just I like to amateur photograph nature, so there's some of that there too. And then my website is Ample Movement. So those are where you can find me.
Amazing. So if you're watching this video, go follow Andrea, follow Ample Movement, so you get inspiration, get inspired to go out there, show your body, enjoy your body, and find the activities that bring you joy.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Andrea, for being here. Anything else you would like to share today?
I don't think so. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and it's been really lovely talking to you, Natalia.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And to the audience that is watching this video, like it, share it, subscribe, because we need to spread the message that everybody can practice yoga and that everybody can enjoy their own bodies the way they are today. See you soon, Andrea.
Thank you.
See you at your home. A big hug. And see you in the next episode of the Yoga for All Bodies video podcast. Bye.